Hi everyone, I want to give you a quick tour and hopefully maybe give you some ideas of what you might do if you're into the van life and doing some renovations yourself. We bought this van for really cheap. We're not members of this church, we just haven't taken those stickers off yet. But we got a really good deal on a 15 passenger Ford E350 from 1994. The first steps we had to do is obviously rip out everything and start to build it up from there. It was a fun project to do with my whole family. Outside, you see we took off the running board. That was just kind of a pain. And we added these ladder clips we just got on Amazon that kind of run off the rain ladder. Added a cargo kit. Up there will be some waterproof containers as well. There's our rooftop nest. One of the biggest challenges I had was this window just kept leaking. I took it on and off and put new seals, and I finally kind of gave up and did just a ton of silicone running on the outside, so no water could get in. Obviously the top of the van was altered because we had some rust up there, and my daughter went up and did a lot of grinding up there. After she did all the grinding, we put this really thick paint from Napa. It's kind of like a bed liner. That will be good. And we added this ladder here onto the back. I already had to hitch. Some of the things that were interesting for us is we added a new starter battery here. And then from that starter battery, we ran cable here and to some two large fuses. And I added a backup marine battery here, and what you see here is a battery isolator. Now that means essentially that this battery will charge off of the alternator as this battery is also charging, and when the car is turned off, this will be isolated from the starting battery. That was a good investment. One other thing that we can do actually is you can actually jump the starting battery from the backup battery if you needed. I then ran this cable here directly down into the fuse box for the LED lights and USB charging circumstances that we have going on. Engine wise, in this car I had to do quite a bit. So in here is all new filters for the air filters, and back in there I put a new distributor cap, a new router in there, all new wires, new spark plugs as well. We ran new belts throughout. Both belts were added. Obviously some of the other things, just such as oil changes, checking off all the fluids, new fuel filter and new oil filter were added. In addition, underneath I had to do the big parts of the job, which was a new manifold gasket on the passenger side because there was a leak. That cost quite a bit. I could not do that as they had to they busted off some of the bolts. So these things get extraordinarily hot. These 467.5 liters apparently. So that's another investment I'll probably make in the near future. It would be a new exhaust system. So new manifold, and then the big whopping cost was the transmission overhaul. We brought it in and overhauled the transmission, which was needed, and I'm glad we did. We also added a variable speed sensor to it, new bearings, new ball joints, and U-clamps. So quite a bit of work went into the engine. I think it's ready. I want to kind of demonstrate how this is going to look while traveling. Got a one-up rack that goes on there. I actually got some extra brake lights to add to there and kind of run it to the traditional hitch if I wanted to, but that demonstrates how the rooftop tent would look with the back rack for storage, the bike on the back, and I can extend that bike rack a couple more out if I wanted, but then I'm getting a pretty good distance out again. I would probably want to run with that brake light after there. But there's the rooftop tent. There's my storage cargo containers up top. The van will be loaded with everything else too, and we're ready to roll. There it is. Okay, I'm going to give you a little video of the inside of the van. As you can see, we added some curtains. Jenny came up with a pretty good design. Originally we were going to do some cables across the top. We ended up just putting buttons everywhere, and these little marine buttons, and we roll it up, and then we could button it on all four corners, and you can see that that's throughout the entire van. Every window now has those shades. We're really excited about how the van turned out. There's our sign and last name. One of the things that was intriguing was this chair. We wanted to get a foldable chair, but to purchase that online, the cheapest I could find, it was about $900 plus 200 some shipping. So we used the base from the old chairs, and we mounted them right to the van as it was, so I can still take this in and out if I need to, but created it so it can fold down and create another bed. One of the ways I did that was to put a piano tuner. This is all velcroed on, by the way, now, so the upholstery has velcro so it won't slide around. But put a piano tuner, I'll fold it down actually, that'd be a better way to see it there, so it goes down. All new carpet throughout the front, new radio added, new cup holder added as well on the doghouse because the other one was falling apart. There you can see the fuse box. We ran all the wires from the auxiliary battery into the back. And added LED lights that run off the auxiliary battery pretty much everywhere. Some of the things we did here was add a laminate floor. To do that, we put half-inch particle board plywood over foam, and then from there a laminate floor over another foam. This is interesting, this table. This is cantilevers here, just because we wanted more floor space. You can kind of cantilever this out, and similar to the piano hinge on the other chair, you can just fold that out to become a little bit bigger of a table if you want it. So you get a general idea. This then pops out here and rests on these sides. I'm going to cut another one of these just for a middle support, but I found I don't really need to. And that becomes the bed. Looks like later. This is the back of the couch as we are. These are kind of handy. These hinges here, I found them so I could bring it out so when it does rest, it locks in place. And when I want to get it back, pushes it there. There's the places we've lived. We're missing our Oregon license plate. We'll get that soon. And all the cushions were created by putting 3-inch high density foam on the back of a 1/4-inch plywood and just stapling it together. Once again, you can see all the buttons for the curtains everywhere. That works out really well. This has storage underneath both sides. This one was a little more nuanced because we have a heating element in the back. We had to have a whole bunch of angles, so this will not come out. But once the cushions, they'll all lay down. I'll add a picture of that. But the cushions all lay down, this becomes one big bed. As I alluded to, this becomes a bed as well. I'll go ahead and press pause. The way this becomes a bed, just unscrew this, pop that out, then we go to the other side. Similar, pop it out, put both hinges down. I'm sure this videography is horrible. And voila, the second bed. Those are on Velcro so they can slide together. It's quite comfortable actually, the bed, I think. So negotiating who's going to sleep where. Yeah. So that's the inside of the van. Fully. We're really pleased with how it turned out. Between the curtains, the LED lights. Oh, and we got these little USB chargers kind of positioned everywhere as well. Keep all of our devices going. I think I have 4 of them. 2 on this wall and 2 on that wall. See right here? Kind of wired throughout. Again, coming off the aux battery, so there's no way that I can go with the off the main battery. Once more, try to get that up. Show you just kind of how easy that is. Good. Take these down. That should really comes up. And then at the right angle is kind of tricky. I found it. There you go. And we'll just take these butterfly nuts and lock them in. We did keep the old seat belts for a couple of the positions. You can see there we went right through into the frame because it had a whole bunch of pre-drilled spots. Similar to how all of these are screwed in. I actually used those threads to bolt down the frame of the 2 boxes. So the boxes on each side are really securely bolted down as well, which works quite nicely. Well, to finish up, I'll just show you how we bolted it into the van and how we bored into the framing for the bench seats. We did that on multiple places, so those bench seats are really sturdy. Here, as we get to the end of the video, I just want to say some of our next steps is we're going to be building an awning using tarp and electrical conduit. And we took it out for its main voyage and went a few thousand miles around Tahoe, Yosemite, Crater Lake, and back. Had a great time, and the van worked wonderfully. We're very fortunate for it, and hopefully this gave you some ideas on what you can do potentially for your van.